Hey guys, I wanted to come on here and talk about the secret to abundance. What causes abundance in our life? And the thing is, it does not come from where you usually think it does, or maybe where you are taught. Sometimes you're taught, hey, if you work hard, if you chase your dreams, you chase your goals, that's where abundance comes from. But what I've come to learn is that abundance generally comes from within first. And this is the way that I would explain it. If I'm building a pyramid, building a building, in order for that thing to be sustained over the long term, it needs to have a very solid foundation. It needs to have a very solid foundation. So the foundation of who we are determines our success. And I would even go a step further and say that God or the universe might even be holding you back from success, not because he or it is punishing you, but because your foundation is not in place yet. And once that foundation is put in place, then you can start building the building. So I want you to think about this, okay? There are buildings in the city that I live in, and those buildings are skyscrapers. However, due to the soil and sediment that these skyscrapers are built on, they need to dig down 300 feet and put iron rods, an iron foundation, 300 feet under the surface of the ground in order for this building to stand the test of time. If they were to just put concrete down and build the skyscraper, due to the freezing, the thawing, the moisture, and the dirt around it, this building would not stand. Okay? So it takes a really long time. It may even take them years for them to dig all the way down and get those foundations, those columns, the iron rods or the concrete, whatever they're using to get down. I believe the actual depth is 300 feet. This is much taller than the buildings themselves sometimes. All right? So they have like a ton of anchoring that is under the ground that you do not see and you never will see, and you unless you're in a building, you wouldn't know that it's there. But while they're building this, they could be sitting there for years and years and years putting these in, and people on the outside are looking, they're not building a building. They've been working there for years and they haven't built anything, because what they're working on is the solid foundation in order for that building to stand. Once that foundation is in place, the building becomes erected very, very quickly. It's similar to bamboo. Bamboo is developing a root system for a very long period of time in order to sustain the height that it grows in a very, very short period of time. So a majority of bamboo's life, nothing ever manifests on the external. It is only underground where nobody can see it. So here's what's happening. God or the universe, if you want to think of it that way, is helping you to build a foundation, making sure that you have a solid foundation before you can handle that thing. Now, here's what happens. Sometimes, if you've seen, people get success or fame or money way too fast. And it's as if they built the building with no foundation, so it stands for a short period of time and everyone can marvel at its magnificence. But it does not stand the test of time. Those people can't handle it. They were not prepared emotionally. They need to be on drugs all the time. They just are not ready for that, and it all comes crumbling down. And we even see people, go and unalive themselves, so to speak, join the 27 Club or whatever it is, because a weight was put on them that was too heavy, because they were not formed properly in the correct order. The term that I've always heard is God is a refining fire, or the universe is a refining fire, refining you as if you are gold being refined. Or the also term I've heard is God is like a wine press, squeezing all the juice out of you. So there's that process, or the diamond, the process of the diamond. All the pressure that is put on you forms the diamond. So what God is generally doing, and you could think of it this way, because God is a conscious being who cares for you, who wants you to be successful, he or it needs to help you form a foundation and be prepared for that success that you're going to have. So maybe you're waiting, and maybe you're trusting the universe and you're just not seeing any results, but you aren't the person who can handle that. And that's the way I have to think about it, because in my life, at my age, I am going to be real and authentic with you. I'm 27 right now, and I see people much younger than me with a lot more external success than I have. But what I've come to realize is, on the inside, I've prioritized spiritual growth, and that spiritual growth has led to emotional growth and growth intellectually. And I have a different worldview than a lot of other people, even though, so my intangibles are significantly higher compared to a lot of the other people around me, but my external value, nothing has manifested yet. And I'm in the fight with you guys. I understand that this is how it goes. I'm only sharing this because this is how my life is working. I can share this from a place of authenticity because I'm where you might be. You could be watching this video years from now, and maybe I have more success at that point. But I want you to know that right now I'm in the trenches, and I understand how it feels when you feel like you're behind. When you feel like you're behind, and I'm okay with that. I've made peace with that, and I've stopped wishing that I want to be somewhere else and start realizing that there's got to be some process. I was just reading a little bit of the book Be Here Now that I own earlier today, and it talked about surrendering to the process, surrendering to the universe. That ego that we have wants to tell us that it is a certain way. I should be farther along. I should have more success. That ego is your enemy. It's telling you a lie. It's telling you something that just is not correct. First, trusting the universe, and as the Tao Te Ching goes, going with the flow. And I'm gonna have to wrap this video up because my wings are done. Going with the flow, if we understand that the universe is conscious and it has a flow and a pattern to it, which is somewhat effortless, is the way I like to think. Just like a river, it flows and the water gets to where it needs to go at the right time. If there's rocks in the way, it just effortlessly goes around it. But I want you to understand that prioritizing your spiritual health, understanding your place in the universe, learning about God or Zen or whatever it is, that is the root of all abundance. Because source, God, I would call God source in one term, is the source of all. So once I am understanding, if I prioritize that, I'm going to the source, the fountain of life. Some may call it Jesus. Some may call it, the universe, whatever it is. But when we go to that place and we understand that thing, that concept is a lot more intelligent than us and has a way to it, when we follow along with that and we put our ships or our boats in the river of life, it takes us where we need to go. That's the way I think about this. Prioritize your spiritual health, guys. If you can think about that and realize your consciousness, all of the keys of success are in your mind. They're in your mind. They're in your spirit. Jesus says your cup will runneth over. There are people whose cup is empty, and they're trying to fill it. For somebody who is in alignment with what Jesus is saying, their cup runneth over. Jesus said that life, I want you to have life and life to the full. And chasing a high or chasing something to make me happy is not life to the full. Once we understand that we get the legendary fountain of youth is just connecting to source. Because when you're connected to source, source is all consciousness and energy. God is the source of all consciousness and energy. When you are in the path with source, when you are on God's path or in God's alignment with God and God's values and goals, you have natural energy. And you'll feel, this is where I'm supposed to be. Have a wonderful day, guys.